Race number 1 for the Pennzoil World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. Todd Kane in the 99, Stevie Smith in the 19 in row 1. Jack Haudenschild and Andy Hillenburg, the 22 and the 2, make up row number 2. Row number 3, the 10 of Dave Blaney and the 1 of Sammy Swindell. Byron Reed and Jason Statler in row 4, and Larry Neighbors and Kent Walters in row number 5. Field picks up the pace now at the chalk stripe in turn number 4, and the green flag waves. Heat race number 1 underway. Stevie Smith out to the early lead. Jack Haudenschild working the bottom of the track in the 22, moves up into second. Dave Blaney on the inside of Todd Kane as they battle for third into turn number 3. Off of the 4th corner and down the front straight away they go. Stevie Smith out in the lead. Jack Haudenschild second. Dave Blaney runs third. Todd Kane fourth. 5th and final transfer spot right now to the deuce of Andy Hillenburg, but Hillenburg works to the bottom of Todd Kane. Sammy Swindell follows him as well. Swindell, the top 5. Then it's Todd Kane, Byron Reed, Larry Neighbors, Jason Statler, and Kent Walters. Halfway home, 4 laps down, 4 laps remaining. Todd Kane, a very close brush with the wall in turn number 3. Gets the Napa 99 back underway. Byron Reed trying to get underneath him. That's the battle for 6. Speedway to take 6 from Todd Kane. Stevie Smith takes the white flag. One more trip around the high bank half mile here at Eldora. Through turn 3, now off of turn number 4, picking up the win in heat race number 1, the 19 of Stevie Smith. So the new Oxford, Pennsylvania driver picks up the win in heat race number 1, Stevie Smith first. Second spot to the 22 of Jack Haudenschild. Finishing third, the 10 of Dave Blaney. 4th spot, the STP Deuce of Andy Hillenburg. The 5th and final transfer spot goes to the Channel Lock Gambler number 1 of Sammy Swindell. Byron Reed comes home 6th, Todd Kane 7th, Larry Neighbors 8th, Jason Statler 9th, and Kent Walters in 10th. Heat race number 2 set to go with Joe Gaerte in the 3G, Tyler Walker in the 35. Second row, it's Dale Blaney in the 94 and Greg Hodnett in the 11H. Gary Brazier in the 1AU and Dean Jacobs in the 1F make up row number 3. Then it's the 7TW of Jeff Swindell, the 2B of Steve Siever, and the 18 of Brian Carlson. Gaerte and Walker pick up the pace. Off of turn number 4, the green flag is flying. Joe Gaerte out to the early lead. Here comes Dale Blaney working the bottom side of the speedway, battling Tyler Walker for second. Side by side down the back straightaway they go. Blaney puts the huge wheel and axle 94 into second. Walker still holding on to third. Greg Hodnett coming up into 4th, and Dean Jacobs holds down the 5th and final transfer spot. Now out of corner number 2, Hodnett tries to take third away from Tyler Walker. Can't do it there. Let's see what happens in 3 and 4. Again, Hodnett on the bottom of the speedway, and the Selma Shell 11H goes in front of Tyler Walker to take over third. Dale Blaney moving in on Joe Gaerte, slides up to the cushion exiting turn number 4. Walker trying to come back underneath of Greg Hodnett in the battle for third. Jeff Swindell sits back in 6th. Gold Eagle 7TW. He needs to pass one more car to transfer to the A. Now Jeff Swindell moves to the bottom of the speedway in the battle for the final transfer spot. He puts the Gold Eagle 7TW up into 5th. Now look to the bottom of Tyler Walker exiting turn number 4, and it's up to 4th with a Memphis, Tennessee chauffeur. Walker comes right back, slides in front of Swindell. Swindell diamonds the corner off and goes down the back straightaway back into 4th position. Now Dean Jacobs Jacobs puts the Frigidaire 1F on the bottom of the track. He needs to try to get past Walker if he wants to transfer. Also looking for a spot in the Viper and Dash. White flag waves for Joe Gaerte. One more trip around the half mile for Dean Jacobs to try to get by Tyler Walker for the final transfer spot. And off of corner number 4, picking up the win in heat race number 2, Joe Gaerte. Joe Gaerte takes the win in heat race number 2 in the Contractor Instruments number 3G. Dale Blaney comes home second in the Hughes Wheel and Axle 94. Third spot to the Selma Shell 11H of Greg Hodnett. Finishing fourth, the Gold Eagle 7TW of Jeff Swindell. And the fifth and final transfer spot to the Aircept 35 of Tyler Walker. Kevin Huntley and Johnny Herrera, the 7 and the 47. The 5M of Mark Kinser, the 75 of Paul McMahan. Kenny Jacobs in 92, Steve Kinser in 11, U2 of Keith Kauffman, the 48J of James Fisher, and Donnie Schatz at the tail of the field in the Blue Beacon number 15. Huntley and Herrera pick up the pace now as they cross the chalk stripe. The green flag flies. Johnny Herrera out to the early lead. Mark Kinser on the bottom of the speedway in a second. Down the back straightaway they go. Kenny Jacobs and Paul McMahan side by side. Now Jacobs looks to the inside of Steve Kinser and Mark Kinser on the bottom of the speedway trying to get the lead from Herrera. Side by side racing throughout the pack. Mark Kinser from the Morgan Williams third, 5M right on the bottom of the speedway. Now slides up the middle and takes the lead. Johnny Herrera second. Steve Kinser looking to get third from Kevin Huntley. Rounding out the top 5 right now, the 92 of Kenny Jacobs. Fourth. Now Keith Kauffman in the United Express line. U2 looking for the fifth and final transfer spot. Ducks low underneath Kevin Huntley entering turn number 3. Out of corner number 4 and Kauffman's got a transfer position. Pulling off the speedway on the back straightaway. Now Schatz brings it to a stop. We're going to have a yellow flag here. A yellow flag coming out in heat race number 3. Chevy S10 pace truck from the Pennzoil World of Outlaws into the pit area. Look for a single file restart at the cone on the back straightaway. Mark Kinser leads. Johnny Herrera, Steve Kinser, Kenny Jacobs, and Keith Kauffman the top 5 as they head toward the cone on the back straightaway. Mark Kinser jumps on the loud pedal. The green flag comes back out, and heat race number 3 is back underway. Keith Kauffman with a low move exiting turn number 4, but can't get fourth from Kenny Jacobs. Kauffman puts the U2 back on the bottom side of 1 and 2. Still can't get the pass done. Meanwhile, more problems for Donnie Schatz. He'll pull off the speedway in turn number 1. Kenny Jacobs on the move in the 92, now looking to take third away from the King of the Outlaws. Through turn 1 and now into turn number 2. Kinser drives back on the outside to hold on to third. Jacobs again looks to the bottom of the track in 3 and 4, slides up in front of Steve Kinser as the white flag flies. Coming off of corner number 4 and picking up the win in heat race number 3, Mark Kinser. So the reigning World of Outlaws champion picks up the win in heat race number 3. Mark Kinser comes home first. Johnny Herrera second in the Casey's General Stores 47. Kenny Jacobs brings the Imperial Package 92 home third. Steve Kinser finishes fourth in the Quaker State 11. The fifth and final transfer spot goes to the United Express line U2 of Keith Kauffman. Paul McMahan finishes 6th, 7th spot to Kevin Huntley, 8th to James Fisher, and Donnie Schatz will end up 9th. Pace vehicles pulling off of the speedway. Danny Smith and Craig Dollansky, Joey Saldana and Charlie Fisher, Danny Lasoski and Frankie Kerr, Dion Hindi and Tim Schaefer, and Art Went rounding out the field. Smith and Lasoski bring him to the stripe in turn number 1, and we get a green flag. Danny Smith in the middle of the speedway takes the early lead. Here comes Dollansky on the outside of the track to take the top spot down the back straightaway. Dollansky in the 1W leads it. Danny Smith second, Joey Saldana third, Charlie Fisher fourth, fifth spot to the 1Z of Danny the Dude Lasoski. Joey Saldana with a brief look to the inside of Danny Smith in turns 1 and 2. Now makes the move in 3 and 4, slides up in front of the Kiger Sunoco 4 to take over second. Charlie Fisher on the move in the KC Raceway 48. He goes to the inside of Danny Smith entering turn number 3 and takes over third. Smith holds down fourth, fifth and final transfer spot right now belongs to the 1Z of Danny the Dude Lasoski. Frankie Kerr is in sixth. He needs to get one more spot to transfer to the A. Frankie Kerr also looking for a spot in this evening's Viber and Dash. Frankie Kerr in the Show Motorsports 23S trying to close the distance on Danny Lasoski. That's the battle for the fifth and final transfer spot as they exit corner number 4. Tim Schaefer currently runs 7th, 8th spot to Art Wynn and 9th to Dion Hindi. Craig Dollansky still in control in the Conwest Freight Express number 1W. Joey Saldana has the Balderson Dodge 51 in second as the white flag flies. Saldana trying to take one last look at Craig Dollansky. Dollansky drops to the bottom and Saldana works the middle of the track off of corner number 4. Great move by Joey Saldana. Looked like Craig Dollansky had a problem in the Conwest Freight Express number 1W on the final lap. He slowed down and went to the bottom of 3 and 4, still managed to hang on to second, but picking up the win in the 4th heat race, the Balderson Dodge number 51 of Joey Saldana. Dollansky hangs on for second. Charlie Fisher comes home third in the KC Raceway Angler Tool and Machine number 48. 4th spot to the Kiger Sunoco Nash Contractors 4 of Danny Smith, and the 5th and final transfer spot to the Massey Incorporated American Compressed Steel 1Z of Danny the Dude Lasoski. The Pennzoil World of Outlaws sprint cars forming up into their traditional 4-wide parade lap, starting down in turn number 3. When they get to you, we want to see everybody up on your feet. Wave your hat, your shirt, your program, whatever you've got available. Let these drivers know you appreciate the job they do for you as they salute you. Through corner number 4 and down the front straightaway now. Ladies and gentlemen, you wanted the best. You've got them 4 abreast. The greatest show on dirt, the Pennzoil World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. Sprint cars break formation, forming back up into rows of 2. Dave Blaney and Sammy Swindell in row number 1. Steve Kinser and Kenny Jacobs in row 2. Andy Hillenburg and Greg Hodnett in row 3. Danny Lasoski and Charlie Fisher make up row number 4. Dean Jacobs and Frankie Kerr in row 5. Gary Brazier and Paul McMahan in row 6. Jack Haudenschild and Dale Blaney in row 7. Row 8, Mark Kinser and Joey Saldana. Stevie Smith and Tyler Walker in row 9. Johnny Herrera and Craig Dollansky in row number 10. Row 11, Joe Gaerte and Danny Smith and Jeff Swindell and Keith Kauffman round out the field. Pace vehicles pull to the inside. Look for a start at the chalk stripe in turn number 4 right now. Dave Blaney and Sammy Swindell now pick up the pace. They reach the chalk stripe. The green flag comes out. Let's see if it stays out. Yellow flag back out. Yellow lights back on. The start won't count that time. Side by side now to the stripe. The green flag flies and the A-main is underway. Sammy Swindell out to the early lead. Here comes Steve Kinser on the bottom of the speedway. Kinser couldn't get it done. He stays in third. Sammy Swindell leads. Now Steve Kinser looks to the inside of Dave Blaney off of corner number 4. Still in third spot. Swindell in the channel lock. Gambler number 1 rides first. The battle is for second between Steve Kinser and Dave Blaney. Kenny Jacobs rides third. Then it's Andy Hillenburg, Danny Lasoski, and here comes Greg Hodnett. Side by side battle. For 7th now, Hodnett grabs the position. Here comes Jack Haudenschild on the move in the Pennzoil 22. Traffic ahead for race leader Sammy Swindell. Swindell very close to the wall, coming on to turn number 2. Looks to the inside of Joe Gaerte, now slides back up in front to put Gaerte 1 lap down. Steve Kinser still trying to grab second away from the Buckeye Bullet. Heavy lap traffic lies ahead for Sammy Swindell. Dave Blaney closing in just a bit. With a good run, arcing the cushion in 1 and 2. Sammy Swindell low in lap traffic. Blaney stays up high. Sammy Swindell splits Danny Smith and Jeff Swindell. A good move by the Cordova, Tennessee driver. Putting a little bit of distance once again between he and Dave Blaney. Sammy Swindell, Dave Blaney, Steve Kinser, Kenny Jacobs, Andy Hillenburg, Danny Lasoski, Greg Hodnett, and Jack Haudenschild. Never a moment to rest here at Eldora. Constantly lap traffic looms for the race leaders. Dave Blaney getting pinched between Danny Smith and Joey Saldana. Craig Dollansky pulling off the speedway in the Conwest Freight Express number 1W. Sammy Swindell stretches the lead in the channel lock Gambler number 1. Half a straightaway lead for Swindell. Dave Blaney holds down second, a half a straightaway ahead of Steve Kinser. Joey Saldana drops the Balderson Dodge down low. Looks like he's got a problem. He's slowing on the speedway. Working the cushion. Now Kinser up high. Kenny Jacobs dives low in 3 and 4. Pulls up right behind the Quaker State number 11 as Jeff Swindell goes a lap down to Steve Kinser. Now Andy Hillenburg comes up, tries to challenge Kenny Jacobs for 4th. Hillenburg puts the STP down low, drives up in front of Jacobs, halfway point. 15 laps down, 15 laps to go. Sammy Swindell, then Dave Blaney running second. Steve Kinser way back there in 3rd, then Andy Hillenburg 4th, Kenny Jacobs 5th, then Hodnett 6th, Haudenschild 7th, Lasoski is 8th. Jacobs goes 1 lap down to Sammy Swindell, the 2-time Outlaw champion, on a tear here tonight at Eldora Speedway. Greg Hodnett bumps the wall in 3 and 4. He's slowing. Looks like a flat tire on the 11H. Yellow flag is waving. Also a flat right rear tire on Danny Lasoski's Massey Incorporated number 1Z. Starter Don Menger shows the field the furled green flag as they pass the flagman stand. Single file restart to come at the cone on the back straightaway with 17 laps down. Sammy Swindell, Dave Blaney, Steve Kinser, Andy Hillenburg, Kenny Jacobs, Jack Haudenschild, Frankie Kerr, Mark Kinser, Charlie Fisher, Dale Blaney, Danny Lasoski, and Greg Hodnett. Trying to get by the lap cars of Stevie, Smith, and Dean Jacobs. Smith doesn't want to let him get the position back. Contact between Dave Blaney and Dean Jacobs. Both cars maintain control. And that was just the break Sammy Swindell needed to get his half a straightaway lead back already. Two laps down, 8 laps remaining as the field sees the furled green flag. Sammy Swindell, Dave Blaney, Andy Hillenburg, Jack Haudenschild, Mark Kinser, Kenny Jacobs, Charlie Fisher, Frankie Kerr. Down the back straightaway they go. Past the green flag line. Blaney getting around Stevie Smith once again, right on Sammy Swindell's tail now. Working the top of the speedway. He's trying to get up to 4th and take 4th away from Andy Hillenburg. The channel lock gambler of Sammy Swindell. Very, very sweet here this evening. Pulling out to a 12-car length advantage. Mark Kinser now to the inside of Jack Haudenschild. Kinser will take over 4th. Sets his sights on Andy Hillenburg now. Dave Blaney very close to the wall exiting turn number 2. Yellow flag flying once again here on the speedway. Once again, the furled green flag is shown to the field. 4 laps remaining in this Pennzoil World of Outlaws Series A main. Sammy Swindell, Dave Blaney, Andy Hillenburg, Jack Haudenschild, and Mark Kinser, your top 5. Haudenschild now trying to get into the top 3 positions here at the back of the pack as the green flag flies. Dave Blaney back on the top of the speedway, but once again, Sammy Swindell jumping out to the lead. Yellow flag coming out for the Gold Eagle 7 TW of Jeff Swindell, who was stopped on the inside of the back straightaway. So we'll look for a restart one more time on the back straightaway. A 2-lap shootout, green, white, and checkered. Sammy Swindell, Dave Blaney, Andy Hillenburg, Mark Kinser, and Jack Haudenschild, your top 5. Once again, the channel lock gambler number 1 rockets out to a 10-car length advantage by the back straightaway. White flag wave. One more lap for Sammy Swindell, looking to pick up victory number 11 on the season. Off of quarter number 4, the winner of the Pennzoil World of Outlaws A-Main, Sammy Swindell. Race fans, he took control at the drop of the green. He maintained control for 30 laps, and at the end, the winner, Sammy Swindell. Dave Blaney crosses the line second. Andy Hillenburg comes home third. Mark Kinser with a great drive to get fourth from a 15th starting spot. Jack Haudenschild as well into the top 5. Steve Kinser coming from the back of the pack to take 6th, followed by Charlie Fisher, Dale Blaney, Frankie Kerr, and Greg Hodnett.